It is not just hush money and DA Alvin Bragg. Donald Trump has another massive legal headache today. The $450 million and counting civil fraud judgment is due today. He said he can't find the money. So what will happen? Let's bring in NBC News investigative correspondent Tom Winter, and back with us are Charles Coleman and Caroline Polisi. So it's a whole lot of money, Tom. The legal team has said they've gone to 30 sureties, bond companies, if you will, and have tried to get this bonded, but they've said they've laughed in their face. They can't do it. What's up?
Right, a couple of things that I'm actually looking at on my screen right here. I just happened to pull up 40 Wall Street to see if there's been any sort of liens or activity in filings on that property. There are not. I also just checked the docket a few minutes ago from the AG's case. There's nothing there yet either, and it's unclear what, if any, filings will be made today. We're looking at the 40 Wall Street property right now. If you're also looking at that 40 Wall Street property, you'll notice on the left-hand side of that picture, Katie, there is no longer a sign for Duane Reade. So this underscores kind of the problem that Trump is having, because there's no anchor tenant in that building. And it's difficult now in the commercial real estate market, which are where Donald Trump's, a lot of his holdings are in New York City. It's difficult for some of these buildings, particularly older buildings, to find a lot of tenants. There's just not a lot of activity in buildings that aren't Class A. And to translate that into non-real estate speak, you know, the brand new glistening glass skyscrapers that we see going up around town, those are the ones that are tending at this point tending to get the tenants in them, and that's not necessarily, even though the 40 Wall Street address is very desirable, it's a building that's got a lot of history to it, that those buildings aren't really at the top of what people are looking for right now. So we're looking at the totality of the potential properties that are there, and so the question is, what will the Attorney General's office do if Donald Trump, in fact, does not get the bond? Looking at history here might be somewhat instructive. You know, Katie, we back in 2015, we looked at Donald Trump's business bankruptcies. There are 6 of them. A lot of people think it was just early in the 1990s. It was not. His latest business bankruptcy filing was actually in 2009, tied to an Atlantic City property. And so when we look at Donald Trump's history, and I've gone over hundreds upon hundreds of pages of documents tied to his financials, just specifically businesses associated with his business bankruptcies, typically he just gets to the point where he says, look, do you want 2/3 of a loaf or half a loaf, or do you want nothing? That's typically how he goes. And so the question is going to be here for the Attorney General's office is, what do they do if Donald Trump just says, you know what, I'm not going to do anything? And so you're going to have to figure it out, because the alternative of a fire sale or putting liens on these properties is not ideal for the Attorney General's office. The first person that's going to get paid here is the bank or the debt holder, and that's what Donald Trump has on a lot of these properties. So I think this is going to be a challenging situation for the Attorney General's office here going forward.
That's really interesting. I want to linger on that for a moment, but just the pictures that we were just showing on screen, that's Donald Trump in the courtroom right now for the hush money payment. You can see blue suit, red tie. We'll let you know if he speaks up at any point during this hearing and has anything to say for himself, and also just what happens in general. But let's stick to the bond stuff for a second. What does AG Letitia James do in the scenario that Tom just laid out?
Tom is very accurate in that the Attorney General of the state of New York is in a very difficult position right now in terms of the choices that she has to make. And the reason I say that is, if Donald Trump does not come up with this money and she has to make a decision around which of the assets she goes after, she's employing a very particular type of calculus, because number one, you don't know what these properties are actually worth. Number two,
you don't know what the mortgages are.
You don't know what the mortgages are. You don't know what the debts are. So, you know, you're now engaging in an entire different level of calculation that you do not do. You're an attorney general, which means that you prosecute civil cases for wrongdoing in the state of New York. You uphold the law. You're not in the real estate business. And not just that, there's the evaluation, the appraisal, and everything else. But then there's also the liquidation. You don't sell property if you're the attorney general. That's not the business that you're into. And then keep in mind that on some level, at least while you're figuring these things out, you have to make sure that these properties remain profitable, or you have to try to do this. So that's actually running a business. You don't want to get involved in that. So Letitia James has a lot of decisions to make, and it's going to be very interesting if he does not pay that bond immediately, what she chooses to go after.
How the Trump team is playing this is interesting. At least least publicly. I mean, they've said they can't find the money. You have Donald Trump's son, Eric, on television saying that bond companies literally laughed in his face, that nobody ever posts bonds like this, even though we've had reporters on who have said, and lawyers who have said, no, this is actually relatively common in that world of, high profile, high stakes. But Donald Trump has politically been trying to fundraise off this. I mean, I've gotten multiple emails, text messages from the Trump campaign or Trump super PACs, whatever, saying that, Letitia James has to keep her dirty hands off Trump Tower. Right. They're using it. And I wonder, is that a strategy of the legal team as well?
Yeah, our friend Chuck Rosenberg said this morning earlier that, although Tish James has this power, she may want to be a little bit prudent about how she goes about doing this. She may want to think twice before going after something today. Look, this is ultimately going to come down to papering this issue. We're not going to see armed guards, storming any buildings. It's going to be done through sort of paper and attachment. Exactly. But, I think she may do well to wait for the appellate court to rule on this issue, whether it's Tuesday, Thursday, sometime down the road. She has all the time in the world, really, to go after these assets. And on the bond issue, I think the recent sale of Truth Social and, those types of issues will be leveraged. I think likely Trump will find a way to cobble together the money. I don't think he's going to file for bankruptcy.
We'll see. He's potentially made a couple $1 billion off the sale of Truth Social or it going public today.